We now return to Let's Play Shadows of New York. Has anything new come into the... No, we haven't even gotten that far in the game. Okay. Once again, I find myself in Big Beat Burger. Familiar surroundings, faces I recognize, mood, same as it ever was. Still, I process it in an entirely different way. It all frustrates me now, or more precisely, makes me frustrated with myself. It's like I'm clinging to the remnants of a cocoon I've outgrown. Ugh. She got a little more goth, somehow. It's the same with these cigarettes. I don't need them anymore. So why do I keep holding on to them? Fucking hell, it's like I refuse to accept that I'm something better than I used to be. A vampire. Just 2 nights ago, I met Karen. She embraced me, by which I mean turned me into a kindred. She calls herself my sire, and me, her child. Last night she taught me the basics of survival, drinking blood, manipulating humans, bending steel, controlling shadows. Tonight, I expected more lessons. Instead, she just told me to go out and enjoy myself. What's the catch? I asked, to which she responded, I might kill you if you prove to be a disappointment. There are a few rules. I have to uphold the Masquerade. I can't contact anyone I knew as a human, I can't let anyone realize I'm not human anymore, I can't embrace anyone, and so on. Otherwise, I'm free to do whatever I want. For some reason, the first thing I did was come back here. Old habits die hard. Karen is probably watching me from somewhere even now. The way I understand it, tomorrow night, she is supposed to introduce me to the Camarilla, a local society of vampires. Turns out they're the ones who have been systematically ruining my life lately. All a part of some secret evaluation that I barely passed. Just imagining the reach they have makes me dizzy. After they destroyed the old me that I barely cared about, Karen rebuilt me anew. On one hand, her test left some scars that will take some time to heal. On the other, maybe I should just be grateful. I'm snapped out of my thoughts by a sudden scream. Some douchebag yelling about his french fries not being salty enough. I think this is my cue to leave, permanently. Goodbye, BBB. Hope I never see you again. Her eyes have changed, they were green before. I'm destined for greater things, you see. Okay, we're at the beginning of nighttime. Should we go look at the shadowy figure first? Sure. The dance macabre. Time to swing a little more on the devil's dance floor. The club beckons on. Okay. The risks of swiping right. This Tinder addict smells like A, a bit of a loser, B, a wannabe intellectual, and C, a perfect source of nourishment. Okay, well, we're not thirsty yet. Retributive justice. A meathead bully and his unfortunate victim. I probably shouldn't interfere, but what better chance could I find to test what I've become? Should we do that, or should we go out and have some fun? We were told to just have some fun, so... But on the other hand... Yeah, okay. 2 men are facing each other in a dark back alley. One of them stands with his back against the wall, his chest heaving as he's struggling to catch his breath. People. Anybody out there? I'm being robbed. A goon is being robbed. A brawny, rugged guy is yelling at metal staircases with a theatrical incredulity in his voice. With a lively step, he dances around an older man who's having trouble finding his footing. What is this bullshit? Oh, so now you can talk. Good, because I'm dying to hear what you did with my wallet, Holmes. Wallet? I have no idea what you're talking about. The goon starts prancing around like a Muay Thai boxer. Tiger punch. He's smiling, but his eyes send a clear message. You're cornered, buddy. Don't even try to pull a fast one on me. Come on, homeboy. You may be able to trick an average Joe on the street with your act, but a fighter recognizes a fighter. Like an animal thing. It's an instinct thing. You've got some moves on you. You're like shit. You're like a black mamba. Lightning fast reflexes. He starts shadowboxing for a moment. The man's definitely got energy to spare. However, I'm like a king cobra. You've met your match. 2 apex predators now locked in battle. Oh, so you're seeing snakes? That would explain some of this. Before he's able to finish, a sucker punch knocks the air right out of his lungs. The old man slides down the wall. Before he can let out a groan, he's interrupted by a brutal kick to the chest. That's what I'm talking about, a fighting spirit, even when you're cornered. Ugh. Take a seat, deep breath, collect your thoughts before you speak up again. Remember where you put my wallet now? I'm pretty sure you broke my rib. An eye for an eye, a rib for a ribbing. Biblical punishment. It's only fair, homie. Fair? At least admit that... is homie still a word even 2 years ago in 2019? At least admit that this is a mugging. Wallet my ass. Still in denial. Okay, let's say I had about $5,000 in there. Give me $6,000 and I'll let you walk away, relatively unharmed. So you admit it. Admit what? That this is not about proper compensation, this is a robbery. Look, buddy, this is beginning to bore me. Unless you want me to go all Anderson Silva on your ass, give me what I want. Anderson Silva? Yeah, Anderson Silva, flying knee meeting your solar plexus, the man, the myth, the legend. Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, Thai boxing, Western boxing, Taekwondo, Wing Chun, and capoeira. Brazilian boxing, combined into a single fighting style that can only be described as straight-up murder. I've been studying the glorious singularity that is Anderson Silva for years. Every move I have, I owe to him. So, if you don't want this snake to turn into a deadly spider, show me the money, honey. Summer 2013, Las Vegas. Huh? Watched it live on pay-per-view. Weedman, what the fuck is that? Weedman saw through all of Silva's tricks, whooped his ass, broke his spirit, showed him for a fraud he is. The man hasn't been the same ever since. All the empty showboating, hollow taunting, drunk on his own Kool-Aid. Jesus, of course you idolize him, asshole. For a good minute, the goon silently looks down at the whimpering man at his feet, chewing on his lower lip. When he finally speaks up, his voice betrays an intent to kill. You know what, homeboy? Screw the money. This is a matter of honor now. My thoughts exactly. And I walk away at this point. Jesus, what the hell is going on back here? He raises his fist. We got ourselves a mixed martial arts expert here, huh? For your own sake, I hope you can back that talk with some self-defense skills, homie. This is pathetic. Boosting your self-esteem by beating up an injured old geezer. God damn, you're pathetic. He jumps at the sound of my voice, turns my way in the blink of an eye, and immediately assumes a combat stance. His reflexes are sharp. Looks like he has at least this much to back up all his braggadocio. Wannabe Anderson Silva's face betrays utter confusion upon seeing me. He's got no idea how I managed to sneak up on him. I don't blame him. I wouldn't be able to explain it myself. It felt like I became one with the darkness, my pure consciousness traversing a dusky dreamscape, jumping from one shadow to another as if they were different trains of thought. I think of some experiences I've had with psychedelics, every blink an adventure. I was outside of this alley. Blink. I was above the alley. Blink. Now I'm in front of this guy. Andy pisses me off. The older man slumps down. Looks like he was trying his best to keep it together and gave up once the cavalry arrived. The goon regains his composure and barks at me in an overly gruff way. The hell are you sneaking around here for, Chica? Move along. This is between men. Not anymore. His fist turns toward me. I'm serious, and an equal opportunity ass-kicker. I respond to the threat with the brightest, most innocent, virginal smile I can put on. So you're into shadowboxing, huh? Something comes over me. I can feel the darkness embracing me, whispering sweet nothings in my ear, pumping me up for what's to come. Crane kick, really? How about just an elbow into the goddamn... Might as well give this a try. Before he manages to respond, my elbow crashes against his face. A few bloodied teeth land on the ground. I know what he's thinking. I should have blocked it. And he absolutely should have. But instead, he's just flailed his arms helplessly, as if he suddenly found himself in front of an oncoming train. A primal expression of fear that suddenly and completely took him over. I don't know how I look right now, but judging by his expression, my best guess is like the gaping maw of some primordial beast. I follow up the surprise attack with another punch to the solar plexus, or at least my nearest estimate. Once again, the effect terrifies even myself. Looks like my hunch was correct, and I hit the right spot. He falls to the floor, whining like a wounded animal, tears streaming down his face. I let him collect himself a bit, and then grab him by his chin. Learn to choose your battles, homeboy. Let me go. For Christ's sakes, just let me go. I kick him in the direction of the alley entrance. He staggers off, quickly disappearing from my sight. I check on his victim. Looks like he's conscious. Wow, you whooped his ass, girl. But hasn't noticed anything out of order. Good. I was getting worried I might have overdone it a bit. That woman did say that keeping a low profile will be crucial if I want to survive. You all right? Need help? He managed to stand up. His smile is strained, but it suggests he's fine, or at least trying his best to seem fine. No, you gave me all the help I needed, and then some. Thank you, Miss... What's your name? Jessica. Thanks, Jessica. I was worried for a second, but this asshole's bark was worse than his bite. He's probably in worse shape than me now. Guess that counts as a victory. I better be going. My wife's probably worried sick. But before that, if there's anything I could do to repay you... I mean, what do you mean, where to celebrate? We saw there's a club on the map. I want to celebrate tonight. Where would you go if you were me? Celebrate, huh? First thing that comes to your mind. I want to feel alive. Times Square? Times Square. Jeez, get the fuck out of here with that tourist bullshit. I came here a few weeks ago myself. Still haven't managed to see it, and I always wanted to. In the movies, it always seems so full of life, so... Not so full of life at this time of night, and not that interesting in general. Although, I think you just helped me come up with an idea. Glad to hear that. Take care, will you? You too. Avoid shady spots. Next time I probably won't be able to bail you out. And there he goes. Avoid shady spots, huh? Glad I no longer have to abide by my own advice. No more worrying about being out after midnight. No more feeling uneasy whenever I spot a shady asshole across the street. Ever. Hell, I could start jogging in Central Park after midnight now. Not that I need to. The future's looking bright. Yeah, that's a good way to get bitten by a vampire jogging through the park at night. I would know. Well, I mean, okay, it's midnight now. Let's head to the club. I guess this makes sense. On the way to the club, we had an encounter. Sure. Time to swing a little more on the devil's dance floor. The club beckons. Something tells me this is going to be main storyline quest, but who knows. This club reeks of death, and I love it. I've been here quite a few times, but I've never seen anything this breathtaking. Everyone around me is whacked out of their minds, and as they keep dancing madly, the spirits dance beside them. Spectral silhouettes phase in and out of existence, becoming more visible and more intense the music grows. It looks like a bizarre ritual, profane mass. Do we actually see something like that? So, it hasn't been brought up yet, but the clan that this one belongs to is Lasombra. And from what little I just saw, Lasombra is basically a very egotistical, climb-the-ladder, power-grabbing kind of clan. They used to be part of the Sabbat, which were opposed to the Camarilla. I guess in the current timeline, or storyline, they have been dissolved, and so the Lasombra clan begrudgingly split, and part of them went to the Camarilla, which, as was implied earlier, we are on the side of the Camarilla because, well, at least our sire was on the side of the Camarilla, because we have to uphold the Masquerade. The Sabbat, I think I mentioned in the last Let's Play, were not. They were opposed to the traditions and the whole, vampires have to stay to the shadows. They were very much a group that, from what I gather, kind of religiously followed the whole Cain progenitor storyline thing, the belief in the antediluvians and basic vampire lore, and therefore they thought that they were vampires should run the world openly. Anyway, spectral silhouettes, blah blah blah. I notice it's the voice samples the ghosts react to the strongest. The most suggestive ones cause them to appear distorted, even tormented. A specter. Oh, okay. So I'm going to have to do a little bit more research on this. I don't know that the Lasombra can see specters, but apparently they can. It's as if something was struggling to be born out of the harsh sounds, and the dead were hoping to be reborn alongside it. Maybe they're a magical clan, like the Tremere? Who knows? They're all uneasy, quivering with desire for something far beyond their reach, probably the same as when they were alive. Okay, we are literally seeing ghosts. Okay, sometimes the living dancers spot their dead counterparts. It's usually the most manic ones who notice something out of the corner of their eye, for only a split second, and never realize what they've glimpsed. Some apparitions dance to a completely different tune than the rest of us, one only they can hear. Those seem the saddest. The spectacle is eerie. At times it's unbearably melancholic. Above all, it's beautiful. I keep on moving to the rhythm until I reach a trance-like state, and then something even stranger happens. Every now and then, when I brush against someone, a fragmentary vision appears before my eyes. Okay, well, I guess we're going to learn. Hopefully this pops up in the book. We can learn a little bit about the Lasombra. A car burning on a freeway, an outstretched hand in the depths of the sea, a man jumping out of a skyscraper window. Memories of the past? Preventable visions of the future? I have no idea what it means, but I'm strangely eager to find out. Okay, I'll keep my thoughts here to the end. And then there are dancers like her. Ones that aren't ghosts, humans, or even vampires, but something else altogether. I mean, it's the World of Darkness universe. She could be literally anything. Speaking of which, I found out there's also a werewolf game kind of like this. We'll be checking that out at some point. This new world is full of mysteries, and I plan to get to the bottom of them all. But for now, I just want to dance. Wow, what a night. I watch Times Square from above. It's beautiful. Never thought this place could make me emotional, to be honest, but here I am, feeling deeply moved. Who'd have ever thought? That one guy I saved from a beatdown will probably get bored of this place 5 minutes after an obligatory selfie, although I guess one's enjoyment of these sights depends a great deal on perspective. Interesting. So is this a continuation of the club, or is this an event after the club, and that was triggered now because of the guy we saved? Whatever, anyway. In any case, I'm glad he gave me the idea. Getting up here was surprisingly easy, all things considered. It took more thought than physical effort. Earlier tonight, I started experimenting with this body's limits. I realized I can jump over small buildings and climb steep walls with ease now. My whole perception of space has shifted. Planned a scenic route across the rooftops. I did my best to avoid attracting attention just as I was told. Stayed in the shadows as much as humanly possible. I spot a drone from afar. For a second I feel uneasy, but I remember what she told me. Machines won't get a clearer view of me anymore. Camera footage, photos, it's all glitched out or blurry. Wouldn't take it for granted if I didn't try to catch my reflection earlier on. I couldn't see my face clearly, not in the mirror, not even in a puddle. My face was like one of Dolly's clocks. Oh, really? Because I remember driving in a taxi more than a few times in the last game, and mirrors did not have that impact. She told me to keep a low profile regardless. Someone might take note and track you down. She didn't care to elaborate, but it didn't sound encouraging. Suddenly it hits me that I might never be able to see my own face again. I won't even be able to take care of my looks by myself. What about the long-term psychological effects? A knot of anxiety tightens in my stomach. Jesus, this is probably just the tip of the iceberg. What else is going to change? Calm down, wait a second. These past few nights have been the best of my life. For years I was on a downward spiral. Failing health, no future, feeling of overwhelming powerlessness. Now everything has been flipped upside down, a total paradigm shift. Bad ending is no longer the only option. I'm actually looking forward to tomorrow. Forgot how that feels. Where it used to stand at mere seconds to midnight, the doomsday clock has been effectively turned off. A cold breeze brushes my cheek. As stupid as it sounds, I choose to read it as the world telling me to chin up. I can bend anyone to my will. I'm capable of superhuman strength. I'm a master of shadows. I don't know what Lasombra vampires have as their special abilities. I can do anything. Tomorrow night, I will be introduced to my duties. If everything goes according to plan, I will become a New York City representative of Clan Lasombra. Whoever they are, whatever that means, I have no idea what to expect. But tonight is tonight. I'm free. All my worries from a month ago feel like they belong to somebody else. Finally, things are looking up. Okay, this is a bit more chapter-oriented. Okay, well, I mean, this seems like a good stopping point then. So, what I was going to say earlier is, it definitely feels like this is not a game you'd want to be introduced through. It is standalone compared to the previous game, as far as I know, but you definitely want to have played that one first, if only for the introduction of what the whole Vampire Masquerade universe is about. I say that because the story is very rapidly injecting me into things. This one feels a lot more focused, so far, focused on fans of the series. Because otherwise this would be confusing as hell, and I realize that that is what this is all about. since a lot of this... I don't think I'll read this. I'll just go ahead and put them on screen, because I think a lot of this has already been kind of covered in the previous game. We don't really need to do this again. And vital information like the particular clan is not exactly here. But yeah, this is definitely a lot more rapid of an introduction into this universe. And it's kind of interesting. You know, we're very much on rails for the beginning of it, and then it basically gives me what appeared to be just two options that weren't really pertinent to the... I mean, they might be. Maybe that guy we saved will come along and later be a companion in the game or whatever. The walk to the club thing where we discover the shadows and whatnot. I don't know, it just makes me wonder if already choices are going to matter, you know. Will that Tinder kid still be there? Or if we had chosen the Tinder kid, then saved the guy, then had never gone to the club, would we still, you know, I mean, how does that change? I like that. I definitely do. I really like when a choice-based game actually makes choices matter, and you go down a different route altogether. Especially for replayability, because if you notice, unlike the previous game, there's only one character. You cannot choose from like 3 characters and go down their storylines. This is a one-time thing, so maybe the choices that she makes are a lot different in her potential stories that she can have. Maybe that's the replayability. Otherwise, it's just kind of like a... I don't know. What I was thinking earlier when I was about to have this analysis was that it just kind of felt like it was going to be half-assed. That we were just running through it, and it's like, okay, here's another character. Kind of like this should be DLC to the previous game, rather than its own. I hope that's not the case. So far, it is kind of interesting the way the build-up has been set up. You know, there's far less hand-holding here, for example. A good portion of the beginning of the previous game was basically taking you through what this universe is. Hence why I said this is not a good introductory game. You need to play the first one if you're going to play this one and have never done anything or know anything about the vampire universe or whatever. Anyway, I'm going to end this one here. We'll continue on next time.